Welcome to the Dynamics of Everyday Life, where we demystify some tricky concepts and get to know ourselves a little bit better. Welcome back to the show, everyone. Today, I'm talking about something that's pretty prevalent in all walks of life, but reigns supreme in the coaching world. Those moments where we get taken in by the superficial promises and the look of something, regardless of whether there's any real substance to it or not. Where something looks so good, we're almost tempted not to care whether or not it lives up to the hype, because we want to believe that it will. Like the new cafe with marble tables and neon signs that serves coffee that tastes like regret. Or the must-do coaching course that promises to change your life, but mainly changes your bank balance. And the ones aimed at coaches are just as bad. Now, if they all lived up to their promises, we'd be living in 15-bedroom mansions in Surrey. All of us, though, we're magpies for the shiny stuff, aren't we? Especially in a world that rewards appearance over essence. And yet, looking at it all can also be quite exhausting. So what happens when we confuse glitter for gold? In life, in work, and especially in coaching. The glitter effect is projection in action. We see what we want to see. We have a perceived lack, and boom, someone appears speaking directly to it. There are millions of people selling courses on how to do exactly that. What's your ideal client worrying about at 3 a.m? Well, most likely their inability to get a good night's sleep. But still, this is what is peddled to us time after time after time. And if we don't crack it, it's because we're not working hard enough, or we don't want it enough. We're drawn in by what we want, so this can be validation, success, belonging. These are all dangled in front of our eyes, and they're all things that are hard to achieve when you're doing this on your own. Which ties beautifully to another layer, narcissistic seduction. We want to be dazzled, or be the one doing the dazzling. We want the magic formula that will make everything slot into place, in our work, our relationships, even in our health. And when we see that perfectly branded coach on Instagram, who somehow always has perfect hair and life-changing insights between their Pilates classes, well, we're likely to be drawn into the story, without even giving a thought as to whether there's any substance there at all. We see something shiny, a person, a method, a community, and it reflects back what we long for: competence, belonging, safety, maybe even love. We project our ideal self onto it. That's who I'll be when I get there. It's a way of bypassing the discomfort of being ordinary, uncertain, or still in process, all of which we actually need to go through. It's deeply human too. Winnicott would probably say it's about our capacity to play with illusion, the healthy fantasy that gives our life meaning. The trouble starts when we forget it is an illusion and start relating to the glitter as if it were gold. That's the moment when fantasy stops being playful and starts being defensive, when it protects us from reality instead of helping us imagine it. In the coaching world, we have built an industry where polish sells better than depth, where it's easier to market confidence than containment. And honestly, this breaks my heart a little bit, because there are so many brilliant coaches who are working incredibly hard, but who don't necessarily do the polished image or self-promotion, and so they don't get seen or appreciated in the way that they deserve. But here's the reality check. Glitter starts to flake. It doesn't have the permanence that gold does. You know the moment that I mean. When the shiny programme that promised so much doesn't deliver. When the authentic thought leader turns out to be a little bit, performative. When you realise that the insightful stuff on social media is just a psychological concept watered down till it's meaningless, and it's so far from the original theory, it's barely recognisable. Or Maybe when you realise you've been chasing someone else's version of success. Every coach knows that moment, that dawning realisation that we've been following everyone else's route through the coaching world and haven't yet worked out who we really are as a coach yet. Now, glitter isn't bad. I do love a bit of sparkle myself. The danger is when we mistake the sparkle for substance. That moment, the crash between illusion and reality, that's what Freud would call disillusionment. And it's uncomfortable because it touches shame. How could I have fallen for it? Or we go straight into denial, idealization, rationalization, because we have this underlying feeling that we have to believe in it. Because if we don't, it pulls apart the fabric of our belief system. But if we can stay with it, that's where depth begins. That's where we start to see things as they are, not as we'd like them to be. That's mourning the fantasy, the adult capacity to let go of perfection and tolerate the ordinary. It also ties into one of my more recent episodes, the ability to make decisions for yourself. Just because everyone else is raving about the next big thing doesn't mean you have to nod along too. Do a bit of research for yourself. Now, maybe it is brilliant, but maybe it isn't. Do yourself a favour though and look beyond the sparkle to see what's really there. In coaching, the glitter trap shows up all the time. Clients idealise their leaders, their partners, their next promotion, you name it. We as coaches, we might idealise our profession, our clients, even, if we're a bit honest, even ourselves. And when the glitter wears off, when the client stops progressing, when the coaching room feels dull, we can feel a bit bereft. And that's when we need to notice what's being repeated. Is this a familiar story? The seduction, the disappointment, the search for the next shiny thing? That's the moment to bring out our critical analysis skills. What's really going on here? What's actually being said instead of what we want to be being said? Now, before you think I've gone all Scrooge McDuck, our task isn't to strip away all the sparkle. It's really not. Life without illusion would be unbearably flat. It's about helping clients hold both, to enjoy the glitter, but not to confuse it with gold. Maybe to ask, what might this glitter be covering or protecting? What does it represent for you? Who would you be without needing it to shine? Because that's where substance lives, in the capacity to see reality and stay in relationship with it. So, my invitation to you this week is this. Where in your life might you be confusing glitter for gold? And if so, what might the glitter be covering or protecting? What might people be trying to convince you of or not wanting you to see? That one for me is absolutely key. If you see something that's sparkly, really ask yourself, what is somebody trying to convince me of here and why? What is their motivation for trying to convince me of this? Or, on a slightly challenging note, if you're the one sprinkling the glitter, what might you be hiding? And, as always, give yourself some grace. None of us like to think that we've been seeing James Bond when in reality it was just our own fantasy in a tuxedo, projection, shaken, not stirred. If you can't wait for the next podcast, come and join me on my weekly LinkedIn live sessions, now also on Facebook. Who knew? My IT skills are growing daily. I'm live most Monday afternoons at 2:30, so do come and join the fun. If you're busy, don't worry, the recordings will also go up on my YouTube channel. Unless, of course, it's a bank holiday, in which case I will have my feet up watching a Bond film. And finally, quick reminder, my course, Essential Psychodynamics for Coaches, starts again in January. The first 2 rounds have been fantastic. Fabulous groups of coaches, full of learning and discussion. I love every minute of this training, these training courses. People are already signing up for January, so if you don't want to miss out, come and join the incredible coaches already on board for some psychodynamic fun. Send me a DM or an email and we can have a chat. Looking at ourselves at this level can be challenging and unnerving, so please always do this at your own pace. To have a chat about psychodynamics and find out more about the different ways that you can work with me, either as a trainer, coach, supervisor or mentor, then click on the link that's in the show notes. Thanks for listening to this episode of The Dynamics of Everyday Life. Don't forget to subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. As well as producing this podcast, The Dynamics of Everyday Life has lots more psychodynamic fun going on, and you can find out more at dynamicsofeveryday.life.